How sweep it is to sweep the Rockies. Now, the Rockies are the worst team maybe in the history of baseball, but the Mets went Bachman-Turner overdrive mode, taking care of business every day, and they did it each way at Citi Field over the weekend, sweeping the 9-50 Rockies, and pretty handily. A couple games a little close. Saturday was a blowout, but a win is a win is a win is a win. And the Mets got all three of them against the Rockies, and that's what you got to do. And now the Mets stand alone in first place in the National League East. This is Mets Daily. Subscribe to the channel, please. Smash that thumbs up below. Comment below how you feeling about the boys after a weekend sweep in Queens in front of sellout crowds. The Mets are even selling out against bums. Like, the Mets could face a bum off 34th Street, and they're going to sell out Citi Field. That's how well the attendance is this year. You know, shout out to the Mets. Let's put up the bobblehead in honor of the Mets today. Let's put that up there. Let's put Mr. Met up there. Make sure you follow me at Jake Brown Radio. Thank you. Memberships coming here. I'm telling you, this week, today, tomorrow, I don't know. We're waiting for approval. Memberships are coming. So thank you for the support. If you want to be a member, it'll be $5 for the month. You know, cheaper than your cup of coffee. It helps me, helps the channel, and you're going to get extra exclusive content, and eventually we're going to be doing giveaways. Once we have enough members, we'll be doing giveaways as well. New York or nowhere, despite the Knicks loss, we move on, and all of our focus is now in Mets land. And, you know, Juan Soto, this weekend, you know, the haters were silent, and I get it. It's the Rockies. The Rockies pitching stinks. But I think what we said about Juan Soto is he needs to get in a rhythm, and once he does, watch out. Weather warming up. June has arrived. Happy June, everyone. The Mets hopefully won't go through a June swoon. Last year, they had a great June. They're going to hopefully repeat, and they started off with that on Sunday with a win. But, you know, Juan Soto, once he gets that rhythm, hits a homer a couple days in a row like he just did, you might see him explode. And you got a little sample Sunday with the big boys all homering on Sunday. Alonso, Lindor, and Soto, the Mets' big three, all homering. And you're thinking about, wow, if they all are getting it going together at the same time, you know, we already know Lindor is having an incredible start, and so is Alonso. But Soto, too, if he gets going now, watch out. Let's break down what happened this weekend. Starting, like we said, with Sunday, Alonso's 3-run homer is 12th as he gets closer to breaking Darryl Strawberry's record. Lindor, a homer, his 13th already, leading the Mets. And Soto with his 10th homer of the year. Clay Holmes, first time in his career, going 7 innings. Reed Garrett, a scoreless inning. His ERA is now .70, and Diaz with another scoreless save. He gave up his first hit since May 5th. He hasn't given up a run since the day he said the chiropractors or the trainers had to fix his legs because one was longer than the other. So he gives up a hit. He's finally human, but still no run. And look at that attendance. Second highest attendance of the year, 43,224. That means seats all sold out, and they sold a bunch of standing room. So that's a Sunday against the Rockies, and I know a big reason was the Hello Kitty bobblehead, but still, to sell out because of a Hello Kitty bobblehead, which, by the way, they did all weekend, and against the Rockies, tells you the fans have fully bought in. You know, the weather it was very good. It wasn't incredible. It wasn't like 80 on Sunday, but it was a nice day, and the only other bigger crowd was opening day. So home opener won, second biggest crowd, a Sunday against the Rockies. So home field advantage is real. The Mets keep winning at home like they did over the weekend. Saturday, Nimmo hit a homer, and as they're taking the picture in the dugout, Soto hits one on the first pitch. They go back-to-back. McNeil hits one, Beatty a 3-run triple, and Senga does Senga things. Senga, 1.6 ERA, continues to just absolutely dominate. 6 1/3, 2 innings. It's 2 runs, 2 hits, excuse me. So another great crowd, 41,000 plus, another essential sellout. And Friday, Lindor, 2 homers. What can you say? He just keeps on keeping on. The captain, El Capitan. And we'll talk about him a little bit later in the show today. 2 homers. Marte at a homer. Marte getting it going now. You know, we talked about Marte. Do the Mets have to DFA Marte? Well, not anymore. He's cooking right now. And Marte, you know, deserves to play against lefties and stole a base yesterday. So Marte stealing, hitting homers, doing a lot, getting out of his early season struggles. And Soto had an RBI double. A great weekend for Juan Soto. And David Peterson, you know, the unsung hero of this rotation. 5 2/3 innings, 1 run. His ERA is 2.69, and another 41,000 plus crowd for the Mets. And, you know, this team is, you know, got to take care of business against those teams. And now they go Hollywood swinging, and they get Paul Blackburn back. Now, I know that's not going to excite too many people, but Paul Blackburn is back tonight. as part of the six-man rotation as the Mets need it with no days off this week. We'll see how long Blackburn's here. There's your next 6 days. You see Blackburn, McGill, Canning, Peterson, Senga, Holmes. That is the Mets six-man for now. Now remember, Schiano is about to start making rehab starts. Frankie Montas has already made 2. Montas is going to be here, any week now. I would assume in 2 weeks we might see Montas. And at that point we find out, does McGill get kicked out? Does Blackburn get kicked out? What do they do? But that's your current six-man, as you see on the screen right now. It's Blackburn versus May tonight, McGill versus Kershaw tomorrow, Canning versus Gonsolin, then Peterson versus Knack Thursday. Now, that could change on the Dodgers' end, but that's what it looks like as of now. But that could switch up a couple of those days. And then Senga, Sanzatelli, and Colorado, Holmes versus Palmquist, as the Mets just beat both of them. So we'll see. Listen, Paul Blackburn is a decent number 5 starter in this league. He's not really above a 5 with the Mets last year. He only had the chance to make 5 starts, a 5.18 ERA. He ended last season with both teams a 4.66. He's a career 4.85 ERA. And remember, I always say this, 6 innings, 3 runs is a quality start. That's a 4.5 ERA. So he's just worse than a quality start every time out there for his career, which the Mets could use right now. They could use a guy that gives you 6 innings, 3 runs, and your hope is that the offense gets cooking like it did over the weekend. I know it was the Rockies, but if they keep cooking, you'll take Blackburn every 6th day. He's an infrequent starter. He's not going to start every 6 days the rest of this season. But when you need him, you do have another arm to turn to. And like we said, you still got Montas and Minaya on the way. And once they're both back, assuming everyone's healthy, Blackburn probably doesn't have a piece in this rotation. Canning is a mainstay. Peterson mainstay, Senga mainstay, Holmes mainstay, Minaya mainstay, and you expect Montas at 2 years, $34 million to be a mainstay as well. So that's your rotation. Not a bad problem to have. There will always be injuries, so you got to remember that. Captain Lindor, as you see on the screen. Let me move over a little bit so you could see that. Captain Lindor. Now, there's a story by the great Will Salmon of The Athletic about, Lindor, after every series, he goes to each player's locker and just checks them. A little mental health check. How you doing? How's the family? How's the kids? There's not many players who do that. And they say it goes a long way. Lindor says it's instinctual. It's like walking to my house and saying hello to my kids. He's family. And you see, this is why we talk about putting the C on his chest either on July 19th when they retire Wright, or maybe the next day Wright is there and passes the torch on Sunday and puts the C on his chest. That would be cool too. Equally cool. Now, you could say it's overrated. Maybe it is, but I think he's already doing captain-like things. Why not make him an actual captain? I think in a year where you're trying to win a World Series, I think that would be a really just cool moment for the team and a cool moment for this fan base. I think this fan base has fell in love with Lindor. You're singing along with him. Why not put that C on his chest? First player with the C since David Wright, and show, hey, you're the face of our franchise. You will lead us. And doing things like that is making an impression on players. Sean Minaya, who he hangs out with all the time. He went to the Shakira concert with Lindor, and Minaya went with their families. He said it goes a long way making people feel welcome. I've never seen it before. Remember, Manaya's been in a bunch of different clubhouses. He's never seen that. I can't think of anyone I've played with that would do something like that. It's very unique and special. So raves about him. And Juan Soto, I really respect that. He cares about the guys. That's huge for the team to show a little love to every player, have them know you always have their back and they have a bad day. It's big time. So you got Soto raving about it. You got Minaya raving about it. This is a beloved figure in Mets history. And, at some point, if the Mets hopefully win a ring with Francisco Lindor here, he'll have a statue outside the stadium. Tom Seaver got a statue. I think Francisco Lindor, if he can lead the Mets to the promised land, and man, it'd feel great this year. Francisco Lindor should have a statue outside of Citi Field. He could be, the house that Ruth built, Yankee Stadium, the house that Jeter built, whatever. Citi Field could be the house that Lindor built if he can get the Mets a ring. And it's hard not to love the guy. And the stat is crazy. Like when he hits 2 homers, the Mets are undefeated, I believe. Or when he leads off a game, the Mets are undefeated. I think the Mets are undefeated this year in games he homers. So when Lindor sets the tone up top, the Mets are really good. And you guys are really good for watching Mets Daily. Happy Monday, June 2nd. Unfortunately, the Knicks are done, but we keep rolling here on Mets Daily. Orange and blue skies here. New York or nowhere. Let's go Mets. Mets Dodgers. Buckle up. A rematch of the NLC. As the last time we went to LA, we know what happened. Our season ended. Now it's time for revenge. Not as big of a series, obviously, but you got 4 games against the Dodgers. Let's go. The Mets right now, better record than the Dodgers. See if they, your hope is you can at least split this series, and you'll take that every day of the week. So it'll be Blackburn making his season debut. Hopefully he gives the Mets 5 innings, 2 or 3 run ball. They'll take that. Bats get it going. The toughest pitcher they're facing is Kershaw, who's been a little bit down so far. So the Mets have a shot to not just split, but take 3 out of 4 and keep this positive momentum going. So let's go Mets. Smash that thumbs up on the video. Give us your series prediction below. Mets Daily memberships coming this week in the coming days, coming hours. Stay tuned for that. I'm Jake Brown at Jake Brown Radio. Subscribe, thumbs up, comment, follow. Thank you so much. Let's go Mets. Beat the Dodgers. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on Mets Daily.